Hi, welcome to Relief Beyond Belief, Exploring the World of Natural Healing, Christmas edition. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm your host, Alexandra Barker. Today, my guest is Elizabeth Blakely, local author, who's going to be talking about her book, Awake, A Spiritual Primer, which is a lovely book that she's going to fill us in a little bit more about. But first, because this is our Christmas program, we're going to be talking about angels. And Elizabeth is going to help us find out how we can contact our angels and just a little bit more information about these wonderful beings that are in our presence all the time. So, hi, welcome to this show, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Nice to have you
Thank
here.
You. It's delightful to be
here.
here.
Your beautiful book, which we will get into a little bit later. But first, it's intriguing to talk about angels, especially at Christmas time.
Yes.
And do you believe we all can contact our angels?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how do we go about doing that?
There are hosts and hosts of angels there just waiting to be contacted. And when I first moved to the Middle East, to Israel, I wanted very much to see an angel because I'd been exploring angels and reading books about them and knew there was a healing angel called Raphael, and he's the angel that is in charge of healing. And then there's different angels that have different jobs, if you wish. And Lord Michael, for instance, yes, the Archangel Michael, for instance, is a warrior angel, and he's like a spirit warrior. He's here for us to protect us and to serve the light in that way. And everyone's read about Gabriel, the Archangel Gabriel, who is a messenger angel, and so forth. So there's been a lot of writings, if you wish, about angels in the past. And so I had just moved to Jerusalem when I went to the Wailing Wall, the Western Wall, where the Jews come to pray. It's part of Solomon's Temple, the only remaining part of that wall.
I've been there myself.
Have you?
Oh, yeah, it's very powerful.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And it's very sad at the same time as well, because that particular site was once held by the Jews or the Hebrews or the Israelites, and it was taken about 500 AD by the Muslims and the Palestinians and claimed for their own. So this is, it's a little point of what should I say? It's a difficult situation in the Middle East because of that piece of their temple, not being or that piece being in their hands, but the rest of it not being theirs anymore. Anyway, I used to go down there quite often to observe and walk around. I enjoyed going to the old city. It's still laid out in 4 quadrants like it was eons ago, and so one day I was there observing and just sitting on the side, and I psychically tuned in to a huge angel leaning over the side of the wall like this, and she was kind of laying there like this, about 50-foot angel. And she had golden hair. I say she because she looked more feminine, but I felt that she was androgynous, that there was no kind of a sex differentiation, but very androgynous. But she had beautiful golden hair, and she had a beautiful white robe on, and she was just laying there and listening to all these prayer requests. The Jews go there and they tuck little prayer requests, as you probably know because you've been there, into the little crevices of the wall. And there actually is an angel there presiding over and listening and taking those prayer requests to the dimension where they need to go to. So when you pray, just remember, you call on the angels that way.
Oh, so there isn't a specific routine you have to go through if you want to contact your angels. You can just
not really. But if you need a routine, just call on the angels that you need for any specific kind of situation. And for instance, the angel of mercy. If you're going through some trials and tribulations, painful relationship endings, that kind of thing, just call on the angels or the angel of mercy to come and preside with you or reside with you, and she merges with you and helps you through this process of your pain or your whatever it is that you're dealing with.
Well, and we have, I'm sure most people who have read wonderful stories about angels coming to the rescue, and events that people haven't been able to explain other than just to say they felt this, this presence, and they felt their angels had help them save their lives, or
Yes.
just, even to the point of feeling another presence take the wheel of the car and turn them, out of
Yes.
danger and that sort of thing.
Yes.
So,
Right.
So it's
Right.
just very ordinary people having these extraordinary experiences. And
Well, they're not so extraordinary, really. Everyone can see, what I have seen. We just have to develop our sight. It's all within us. Yeah.
yeah,
So-
I guess if we don't accept, our limitations, we kind of go beyond that, and
Right.
it opens up a whole new world.
Yes, it does.
Now with
Yeah.
angels, you mentioned in the book, you talk about a little bit about the different dimensions.
Yes.
So which dimension would the angels be in?
The angels are in the 11th dimension. There being 13 dimensions altogether. Okay, the first dimension is the center of the earth. The second is just beneath the earth. And the third is the dimension that we're residing in here on the planet Earth. It's the animals and the people, humans. And then the fourth dimension is the first unseen dimension, and it's the astral dimension. The fifth dimension is a light and love dimension. That's where we see ourselves as masters. When we have mastered ourselves, we're residing in that dimension. And so on and so forth. The sixth and seventh are tone and sound and color. The eighth dimension is a group consciousness dimension. The ninth dimension, we were originally created in the ninth dimension. That's our original level of creation. We've fallen from our original level of creation. And so that level is a consciousness of the stars and the planets and all the stellar consciousness. So that's what we are. We're little stars off the big star, So that's the ninth, and then the 10th dimension is the level of the Elohim. You may have read about the Elohim in the Bible. For instance, the Holy Bible talks about the Elohim and being creator goddesses and gods. The word Elohim is actually a Hebrew word that means gods with breasts. So, the patriarchal society kind of took things over, and switched some of the stories. And it's actually the goddesses of the Elohim level, the 11th dimension, that do most of the creating in our dimension and in other dimensions. So from the 11th is the 10th, sorry, that was the 10th. The 11th is the archangels, and the archangels they're originally created to protect the throne that leads to the god and the goddess of creation. They were original protectors. And then from there they developed into all sorts of lineages that we needed at any given time. When there began to be war on planet Earth, we needed to have archangels to come in and to help us, to help eradicate that sort of a situation on planet Earth. So that's when Lord Michael, the archangels, Michael's clan of angels were created. So he has many angels that work with him, per se. He is the presiding angel, but he has many troops, if you wish. So I've called on Lord Michael's angels forever to protect me when I'm driving in my car. I always say Lord Michael in front, Lord Michael behind, Lord Michael on the left, Lord Michael on the right, Lord Michael above, Lord Michael below, Lord Michael, wherever I go. I do this on airplanes too.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, make you feel a little bit more secure when you're...
Yeah, you kind of feel like you're flying with angels, It's just not that bad at all. Yeah.
That's true. Well, you also talk about angels and different other, like fairies and sprites, and are they, would they be of the same dimension?
No, they're not.
Oh.
The fairies and nature spirits are fourth dimensional. So that's, again, our first unseen level, unless you're psychically seeing. So, and they were created to help with nature being in charge of everything here on planet Earth. And so these spirits are like, they're intermediaries between humans and nature. Okay, they're like little bridges between these two dimensions, if you wish. And they're representational. you might see a little fairy that looks white and is all sparkly and everything, and has a little cute little hat on or whatever. In the mountains I saw snow fairies, and they came and they would sit in my hand, and they were 3 inches high. They were very tiny little things. But again, and then there's nature spirits like Pan, for instance. You've heard of Pan? Mm-hmm. He's the CEO of Nature Spirits. He's a huge, very, very kind, loving, amazing nature spirit who is the transformer of energy. Anytime we do energy work, he looks after taking the energy that is released from any given object or human and moves it on to the next highest level. He also works with animals on planet Earth, overlooks that life form. So Pan shows himself sometimes as just this huge green light with sort of a tail. He sometimes is represented looking like a goat, that he has cloven hooves. When he came to me at summer solstice, he looked very goat-like, and he was green and purple, and very bright and white and sparkly too. And so he presides over the summer solstice. That's his
And
time.
how long have you been seeing all of these
nature spirits and so on?
Angels and... Well, you mentioned
probably since 1986, when I began a conscious spiritual journey. I wanted to see, I wanted to know. So the universe soon sent all sorts of objects and beings into my life to show me. Yeah, I was living in Trenton at the time when that happened, actually, and my former husband was in the military, and we spent some time there. And I was meditating in my garden. I created a little garden in my backyard, and I saw my first nature spirit. It was like a diaphanous rabbit, and it just went all around in my garden. It was very, very interesting.
Well, do you think perhaps seeing angels was something that was more accessible to us in the years gone by? If you look at, artwork like in biblical times and everything, angels were always included in that. Do you think they were maybe more visible to us? Maybe we've lost something along the way, or
I think just more people were in tune with that. We've gotten away from it. We've lost contact with it, lost touch with that realm, and for one reason or other.
Well, how can we nurture that so that we can bring some of that magic back into our lives?
Just ask to do it, and meditate. Just ask to be connected. I do prayers every morning. I spend about an hour doing meditations and prayers in the morning, and then again during specific times during the day, and just stopping what I'm doing and saying, okay, I want to connect. First of all, inside, connect with me and who I am in this universe of blue, and then allow myself to feel what's around me and to see. And if we can just get out of our head and stop all those thoughts that are buzzing around there, we can.
Hi, you're watching Relief Beyond Belief. I'm Alexandra Barker. We're here with my guest, Elizabeth Blakely, local author of Awake, a Spiritual Primer. We're talking about angels and other beings. And I was just going to ask you, Elizabeth, just maybe some practical ways that, like, why would we want to be in touch with our angels?
Why not?
What could we hope? Yeah, but that's true. Why not? But I mean, but if there wasn't an emergency, say you were just dealing with normal life stuff, would the angels intervene then, or would you just ask them, make it like a daily practice to?
They guide us. Yes, absolutely. They guide us and they protect us. I remember a car accident that I was going into one time when I was going through a stop light, and the light was green for me, but somebody turned in front of me, and I had no time to stop, so I dabbed right into this car. And as I saw that this accident would be unavoidable, I went into an altered state, and I saw a cloud all around my car. I was driving an MGB, which I could have been very seriously hurt in. It was an antique one, and I could have had that, the shaft of that drive shaft just shoved right through me, and I'd be history for this life. And I saw this cloud all around my car, and I saw these huge hands of my guardian angel guiding that whole accident so that I was not hurt.
Because I have heard that they have to be invited to help, that they don't just sort of automatically, that, I don't know, you don't agree with?
I believe that we all have a guardian angel that is with us all the time and has been with us forever since our creation. That's my feeling of it, that we've always had a guardian angel with us.
Well, if they're so powerful, why do they not make their presence more known? Why don't they appear in front of us? If I were to
Well,
say,
they
like,
do.
I
You're
would like
just
to
not
see...
seeing. You're just not looking.
But if they're powerful enough to move cars and to, why can't they just make themselves materialize? I'm just sort of playing devil's advocate
would you
here,
gain
but
understanding if they did everything for you, or stopped everything, or whatever?
Well,
What was
I might-
happening to me? Sorry,
I was
can I
just
just
gonna say,
finish this story?
sure.
Okay. What was happening to me at the time is I was heading up the wrong road.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was heading up the wrong road, path in life. And they went boom to remind me, kiddo, stop and tune in and listen to what you're doing. You're not heading up the right path. So it was.
And did it steer you back?
Yeah.
Toward your own. Yeah. And I do believe
stop
that
me
everything
from
is for a reason, but it's just.
Self-destructing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that was a powerful message for you.
It was. Yeah. Very much so.
Well, I'm just thinking that, I think it would sway a lot of people, and if they could actually see, it's just kind of an intriguing thought.
Get out there and start meditating, like get out of your head, get into your heart, move your consciousness into your heart, and just sit for various times during the day to allow yourself to let go, and ask to have a vision of an angel or whoever you would like to see.
And I think to do that for beginners, a good way to do it would be to take themselves through a guided relaxation process first. Do some deep breathing and consciously go through, relax all the parts of their body. And then when their body was relaxed, they could start to work on calming their mind down. And then kind of direct that inwardly and ask, for that communication. Now, would you equate angels with spiritual guides or like your higher self?
They're like spiritual guides, but we do have one or two spiritual guides as well that preside over our incarnations, and these guides help us also to keep on track, and they give us information, they give us messages.
These can be very subtle, so we do have to pay attention, don't we? They can be just very subtle cues.
They can be subtle cues, or I developed a system to contact my spiritual guides and have them contact me, and what they do is they buzz my ears when they have a message for me, and it's actually quite audible. I was speaking to a girlfriend recently on the telephone, and I got the buzz, and she says, "What's that ringing over the telephone? It sounds like a hearing aid going off."
Another incoming call.
Yes, I said, "There's an incoming call." Yes, and lo and behold, I stopped what I was saying and tuned in and listened, and there was a message of something that I wasn't supposed to say. So,
so they can really be our allies in daily life, even if there isn't an
Absolutely.
emergency or a really,
They are our
extreme
allies,
situation.
but they can't live our lives for us, we have
We're here to learn.
We're here to learn, yes, absolutely. Earth is a school,
Well, let's talk a little bit more about your beautiful book. And this cover is from an ancient tarot card deck.
It is. Yeah,
and that's very nice. And this was just released. Your launch was
October.
In October. Yeah, the end of October.
Yes.
And that's fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is the symbol for Aquarius, the tarot card for the symbol for Aquarius, the water bearer. And we are now in the age of Aquarius for 2 years already. So it's official. So the age of Aquarius, we're leaving the age of Pisces, whose symbol was the fish, and so now it's the water bearer, and the water bearer represents change, turmoil, change, and getting back to our roots, getting back to our basics, and to accommodate tolerance on planet Earth.
So that's basically a lot of what you write about in the book.
Yes.
So maybe you could just quickly summarize for us what Awake is all about.
Awake, a spiritual primer. Well, I wrote it in about 2 months last winter, and It was a time of me recollecting my stories and my about 10 years of experience in the realm of metaphysics. And some of the topics that are on the back cover here, awaken to physical immortality. We once were physically immortal. Those connective lines have been disconnected for most of us, and we need to be reconnected to our physical immortal lines. I write about that in the book. I write about the true creation story. It wasn't God that created us, it was the goddess who created us. So it's been turned around.
To that matriarchal society.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Maybe that'll be one of the changes.
Absolutely,
With
absolutely.
this age of Aquarius.
Yes, absolutely. We are establishing a matriarchal society on Earth by doing women's ceremonies now.
Which isn't new. It's actually very, very old. Back to pagan days, they held those beliefs.
2,500 years ago, we were a matriarchal society, and then since then we've been a patriarchal society. So we are reverting back to a matriarchal society. And we're going to do that by doing women's ceremonies and implanting women's wisdom into the earth again. Our stuff was stolen by the men, those naughty men. And they wanted to be creators, and they bent and they twisted, but it's not the way it's supposed to be. Our males, or our twin flames, were created to be our protectors and for our enjoyment.
Oh, I like that.
And why not?
Men might not like that so much.
Oh, I think they like that. I think they love that. Yeah, yeah. And they are our warriors, they're our protectors. So,
and then it does seem to be instinctive in many of them.
So they're protecting creation, you see? So it's the...
So it's that balance.
It is, yes, yeah. So I talk about we are galactic humans. We're star stuff, star sparks. I talk about twin flames and my experiences with that, about the 13 dimensions, nature, spirits, ghosts and ghost busting, past lives and reincarnation. There were several lives that I've written about in this book which were extremely, held me back a lot. I had extreme claustrophobia as a child and didn't know why until I unraveled a past life where I had died unresolved. And so I write some of these stories to help people, to understand that perhaps if they have something that's really, really, have a fear, an extreme fear or paranoia or anxiety, that this could be a past life that they need clearing, okay? I write about an ascension diet. Ascension is creating a greater light body so that we can live in this body as long as we wish to on this planet. And so ascension is basically it's not going poof, as it sometimes is written about. We're going to stay here in an ascended but in a new body, a higher vibrational body, okay? I write about crop circles in England and in Canada. I've done a lot of research on that, and that was really interesting.
That's an intriguing topic.
Crop circles?
Yeah, for sure.
You're intrigued by that topic?
Yes, I think it would take a full half hour to discuss that.
Yes, well, they are real. There's no possibility that any human can replicate the crop circles that I've been in England and in Canada. They're so precise. The wheat or the barley, the grain is never broken, it's bent. And the future crops that are planted there do not grow the same ever. And the crops, there's there's a cellular restriction that has occurred in the minerals in Earth when these beams have been sent down to us from our galactic friends. The crop circles are glyphs that are meant to awaken certain types of consciousness within us. And that's their purpose on planet Earth.
That's interesting.